Ladies and gentlemen, welcome today to another edition of NASCAR Thunder 2004 on the channel. We are here at Pocono Raceway for the Pocono 500, race number 14 of 36 on this NASCAR Thunder 04 season mode schedule. We are getting down into this one. Terry Labonte comes in on a hot streak, winning 6 of the last 8 races. Of course, for those of you that don't know, he was the fan-voted driver. We are running as Terry Labonte for this final season of NASCAR Thunder 04 on the channel. Still over half the season to go. Labonte's right back in the championship picture after a win yesterday. Again, his 6th of the year. The top 8 in the point standings after the first 13 races are still within 1 race worth of points from each other, so not a lot separating who the championship contenders really are. You can honestly go back to 15th in points and they're all within a 2-race stretch of the actual points lead itself. So it is very, very close, pretty much within those top 15 drivers. And it is going to be a wild race here today, 500 miles. So without further ado, we are going to get into this race, go through the key points of emphasis heading into the Pocono 500 today, as well as the starting lineup following that.
MRN is live in Pennsylvania today at the Pocono Raceway for the Pocono 500. This track produces some of the fastest racing of the year, but it also presents some special challenges to the drivers.
The corners here at Pocono can be absolutely brutal, and gear selection is crucial for those long straightaways. The drivers that'll do the best are the ones that can set their turns up correctly and slingshot out of them for that extra boost.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has put together a great season so far.
Oh yeah, and all these guys in the top 5 are fighting hard week in and week out to gain as many points as possible. It's harder to pick up spots once you're into the top 5.
Michael Waltrip joined DEI at the start of the 2001 season and got a win in his very first race for his new team.
He followed that up with some very impressive runs at the restrictor plate tracks. He's always had a knack for drafting, and with top-notch equipment, you'll be sure to see him up near the front.
Terry Labonte has really shown some muscle in his qualifying this year.
Man, is it paying off for those guys. Seems like each and every week that car is starting in the top 10.
I had to make a hat change there for a second. I forgot we were running the Cheez-It car tonight. Good thing I had this thing upstairs still from the last time we ran there. All right. We got the Good Luck Cheez-It charm here tonight. We haven't lost a race when we opened this very bag of Cheez-Its during the course of the race, while running the Cheez-It paint scheme and with wearing the Cheez-It hat. A Greg Biffle Cheez-It hat in specific. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Rusty Wallace will be on the front row for today's race. Jr. scoring a pole, his first of the year, and Wallace qualifying up towards the front for the second consecutive race. Ryan Newman and Kenny Wallace will be in row number 2. The Rocket Man starting to look like himself again. Hasn't qualified on the pole this year, but he's been consistently getting better over the last handful of races in qualifying itself. Dale Jarrett and Mark Martin will make up row 3. And row number 4, it'll be Jimmy Johnson and Ricky Rudd. Rudd came so close to winning yesterday's race at Dover. Got passed with 3 laps to go. Michael Waltrip and Jeff Gordon will be in row number 5. Both drivers each have 1 win on the year. Cap 24, Shane Pinckney, welcome to the stream, by the way. In row number 7, it'll be Hermie Sadler and Tony Stewart. Stewart was also one of the front runners throughout most of yesterday's race at Dover. Ricky Craven and Elliott Sadler will be in row number 7. Craven, our Daytona 500 winner. He's had a little bit more inconsistency over the last handful of races despite a hot start to the year. We'll see if he can bounce back today at the Tricky Triangle. Kurt Busch and Jeff Burton, couple of Roush Fenway drivers starting in row number 8 and row number 9. It'll be Jeremy Mayfield and Bobby Labonte. Bobby Labonte's been really close to winning his first time this season. Hasn't been able to seal the deal yet. We'll see if he can do it today. Sterling Marlin and Ward Burton will be in row number 10. In row number 11, it'll be rookie Jamie McMurray on the inside, and younger driver as far as the Cup Series goes here in the year 2003, Robbie Gordon starting outside of him. Matt Kenseth, one-time winner on the year at Darlington, will start inside of row 12 outside of him. Steve Park in the 30 for Richard Childress Racing. Bill Elliott and Christian Fittipaldi will be back in row number 13. In row 14, it'll be Ken Schrader and Kevin LePage. Row 15, it'll be Joe Nemechek and rookie Jack Sprague.
the 16th row are the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet and the Target Dodge.
Kevin Harvick, Casey Mears in row 16. In row 17, it'll be rookie Kevin Grubb and veteran Kyle Petty outside of him.
Pacific Dodge.
In row 18, it'll be Mike Skinner and Greg Biffle.
Pontiac and the Granger Ford.
In row 19, it'll be Jeff Green and Johnny Benson. Benson is qualified towards the back 2 races in a row. Kind of struggled on speed yesterday at Dover. Much different racetrack compared to Dover here at Pocono today, so we'll see if maybe that luck will change in the race. Jerry Nadeau and Brett Bodine will be in row 20. In row 21, a couple of part-time rookies, Ashton Lewis and Stanton Barrett, will be back there. And rounding out the field, starting 43rd and last on the grid, will be Terry Labonte, our driver and our defending winner at Dover last night. Very minimal practice and no qualifying starting at the rear. It's going to be a tough task for Labonte today, but we'll see if he can go back-to-back for the second time this year. 500 miles around the Pocono Raceway. Green flag is going to wave, and we are underway as Dale Jr. will lead them to the start-finish line and heading down now into turns 1 and 2. Sorry, turn 1 rather. 3 separate corners on this racetrack. Almost forgot already. Bonnie really hopes he's got a stable race car here today. Look at everybody jockeying for position 3 by 3. Labonte looking all ready to the inside. A couple of the rookies towards the back of the pack. He's trying to draft off of Nadeau as much as he can. Locking the brakes up. Trying to make sure that car does not start to drift every which way, especially in the tunnel turn when they're 3 wide. Look at this. I mean, they're nearly 4 wide up there in the middle of the pack. It's going to get sketchy into turn 3. Everybody checked up Labonte. Overdrove it slightly into Jeff Green, but he did gain quite a few spots along the way. A little bit more contact. Well, they made it through lap 1. That's more than what we made it, if you remember correctly, back at Pocono for the second race there on season 1. That custom schedule season, we crashed out on lap 1, middle of the backstretch. We already made it further than that today. Ooh, big side draft there by Labonte on Ken Schrader. Ooh, Schrader trying to pull up in front of him. Schrader's in the grass. Bounces off the curb. Keeps it off of Joe Nemechek. Hard to steer this car down the straightaway still. Oh, contact further up ahead. That caused the 5 to run in the back of the 25, his teammate. Now he couldn't get off of him. Ethan, welcome to the stream. Why am I starting Pocono from the rear? I just didn't practice enough and I didn't feel like qualifying. In case I qualified good, I didn't want to start in front of the pack with the fast cars. By the time I got done eating when I got home from work, I only had about 15 minutes to get everything set up for the stream, so very minimal practice. I made sure I tightened the car up a ton just to help. And basically just going from there, and honestly, the car's sticking pretty well for the most part. Quite surprised. Bodine almost bounced off the wall off of turn 3. Track position, kind of a racetrack, that's for sure. You're going to see the draft be a huge factor in tonight's race as well. Very long straightaways all the way around this racetrack. The Long Pond straightaway is the longest straightaway in NASCAR. That front stretch there, off of turn 3 to turn 1. Very, very big. One of the wider ones as well. Could be seeing some desperation moves off of turn 3 going into that very, very fast turn 1. One of the more treacherous corners in NASCAR. Seen some nasty accidents around this racetrack, especially going into turn 1. Labonte all the way to the inside, trying to break the draft. Going to work out for him so much there. Going to maybe make a pass underneath Kenny Wallace. He's trying not to lock the brakes up into turn 2, but these guys check up so early. Labonte's able to drive it in a little bit harder, but he's definitely not trying to run right into the back of these guys either. Yeah, the goal last night was 30 likes. I honestly thought we could have gotten there with a hot start, but I think we only ended up getting to, well, like 18 by the end of the stream. So, yeah, we'll go 25 tonight for our goal for the likes throughout the course of the stream. We're already up to 14, so that's good. Bonnie seems to be entering into turn 1 a little too deep still. Car really starts to drift to the outside by quite a bit. Long race, anything can happen. An even longer race than last night at Dover by an extra 100 miles. And remember, at Dover yesterday, it came down to the wire despite only having one caution the entire race. And it was for debris with about 40 laps to go. Labonte was able to take the lead with 3 laps left in the event. Away from Ricky Rudd. Rudd fell back to 4th. Stewart actually finished 3rd. And Harvick finished 2nd. And Harvick on fresher tires than everybody else at the end of the race was trying to get around Terry Labonte the entire last lap, and Labonte was barely able to hold on. It almost seems like locking the tires up, for whatever reason, it almost keeps it more stable. The car wants to turn left so easily with this analog stick, and when I lock the brakes up, it almost kind of like stays straight because it doesn't want to turn to the left as much. Oh, Jeff Green nudges the wall off at turn 3. First race at Pocono in Season 1 on NASCAR Thunder 04 was a very entertaining race throughout. We might see more of that here today. Labonte underneath Steve Park.
The 30 car is still there. Leaders put about 5 seconds on you. Number 30 is still there. Make it easy.
Well, he couldn't quite clear him there. He was trying to break the draft, making sure Steve Park wasn't going to side draft him at all. Labonte able to clear him into turn 1 now. Casey Mears trying to make a pass on Jeremy Mayfield. Labonte's just trying to draft Casey Mears for right now down the straightaway. Man. Labonte got tight into the corner, but not as tight as what Casey Mears got. That car just jolted to the outside. Jeremy Mayfield maybe going to try to look to cross over Casey Mears into turn 3. And Labonte's going to try to follow Mayfield. Follows him. Now gets to Mayfield's inside himself. Michael Turner, welcome to the stream. Oh boy, got really loose there. I don't even know if you can call it loose on the straightaway, honestly. Contact with Mayfield in the middle of the corner. Bonnie's all right, though. My goodness. That's got to be costing me so much time down the straightaways itself. Look at how deep Mayfield ran into the corner as he hopped off the curb in turn 2. And as soon as he hit that curb, it shot him to the outside right into Labonte's left rear. Labonte hangs on to his car. Mayfield loses a slight bit of ground. Still caution free, 10 laps in. What was that? That's what I mean. I'm just straight. Nope. On the straightaways. Looked like Labonte was gonna make a move on McMurray going into turn 1. He had a good run in the draft. Almost ran into the back of him on corner entry. Bonnie drives it in hard to the inside in turn 3 now. Trying to get around Jamie McMurray. Oh boy, they almost made contact. Bonnie's going to drive it in deep. Oh, a little too deep. Ran right into the 42. Well, he's up to 20th. Not the way he wanted to pass him, that's for sure. Yeah, they definitely, I was alright with them changing Pocono. Granted, it wasn't like a sentimental thing because I still haven't been up there yet. I hope they go there next year. The races now, though, are really, really short. 130 lap cup race at Pocono. 325 miles in the one race, and then 350 in the other. I think it's a little short for a cup race, to be quite honest. I don't want it to be like Formula 1 where the races take 90 minutes. I mean, that's like an Xfinity race. You have to have some varying differences in endurance from one series to the next. Especially when it goes to changing to your top series. Battle for 19th between Ricky Rudd and Terry Labonte.
Still there. Be patient. Number 21 is still there. Still there.
Labonte makes a nice, clean pass.
21 car is looking to pass.
I'm going to say Labonte's making the passing look easy, but in the first 14 laps, he has gone from last to 19th. On one of the toughest tracks to pass cars on. That is impressive of itself. And this, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to make it this entire race with the car doing that on the straightaway. Something stupid's going to happen like halfway through this thing. Or I'm just driving straight and I'm just going to drill somebody on accident. And they're going to get mad at me. And they're going to wreck me in the center of the corner. Then I'm really going to have a problem trying to save it because this analog stick. It's worse on the bigger tracks. It's not as bad on the smaller tracks. Like, for whatever reason, we were fine at Richmond and Dover, but we go to these bigger tracks with these longer straightaways, I just can't keep the car straight. I mean, it's just insane. Need to give this car some Viagra and straighten it out or something. I don't know. Something. We're gonna have to do something. Start driving Mark Martin's car. Maybe that'll keep us straight down the straightaways. No, Pocono has nowhere near the same amount of banking as Daytona and Talladega. Same length racetrack, 2.5 miles. That is the only similarity between those kinds of racetracks. No other track, really, at least in America, quite like Pocono. Yeah, exactly, Michael. That's what I think. As far as the Xfinity Series races being 325, 350.
Let's go now. Still 7 seconds off the lead.
What is that? It's upsetting me. To know it's only lap 17, that's the bad part. We can't put any more downforce in. I put as much downforce as I can in these cars to keep it straight. It doesn't matter. It still does that. That's how you know it's the analog stick. It's not the game. Makes me want to throw the controller across the room. I've never done that before. Just putting that out there. I've seen my friend do it before. I've seen one of my friends break a couple controllers in his time. Yeah, that'd be a death wish right there, Ethan. Indy cars at Daytona and Talladega. I mean, they'd be going like 260 at least, if not faster. Probably faster. And with it being open wheel, no thanks. I don't even think I'd want to watch that race, knowing something bad's going to happen. Like, really bad. That would be a safety concern for the fans and the drivers at that point. Bonnie's been kind of stagnant in 19th since getting there about 5 or 6 laps ago. Hasn't really closed in on the drivers ahead of him and hasn't fallen away from them either. Jonathan Rogers, welcome to the stream.
We gotta pick up 7 seconds.
Oh my God. It's like the further down the straightaway and the faster you go, the worse it gets.
Halfway on gas.
I mean, I can like not touch the analog stick, but then it starts to slowly drift up towards the wall. And now I'm going to go left a little bit. And there it goes again. I try to correct it back and forth. But then when I lock the brakes going into the corner, it stops doing that. I can't just hit the brakes down the straightaway. That wouldn't make much sense. It's not going to be a fast way around this racetrack. Ooh. We'll brush off the wall off of turn 3 for Labonte. 7.7 seconds off the race lead. Slowly losing time to those guys, but we'll see on the longer run how this thing's going to work for him. It's either going to get way worse, or he might start to chip into these guys' lead, depending on how his tire wear's going to continue over this run. I'd have to assume it's going to be roughly a 40-lap fuel run. And if they can make it 40 laps during the course of a fuel run, then it will be just a 4 pit stop race today. It was an epic finish to last night's race, Jonathan. Terry Labonte was able to get the win. Heck of a battle between 4 drivers there for about the last dozen laps. Bonnie got a little tight off of turn 3, and he scrapes the wall again for the 2nd lap in a row. And he lost a second to the race leader that last lap because of it. And a lot more time down the Long Pond straightaway now. Worst area to have a bad corner is right on the exit of turn 3. It slows you down so much down the fastest part of the racetrack. One of the fastest parts in NASCAR. Especially back in 2003. And more horsepower.
Your right front tire's wearing down. Try another line or you won't last.
The goal is 25 likes tonight, but hey, if we get 30, by all means. All those tire marks where the brakes locking up in turn 2 is all Terry Labonte's. Most of it is. Sure, some of it could be other drivers. Now, we're not going to see any sort of lap traffic in front of the race leaders until probably after the first set of pit stops if we do stay green that long. We'll wait and see how exactly that will play out. Still about a 3-second gap between where Labonte's running and the 20th place car of Casey Mears behind him. Look at how low. Thought Sterling Marlin was going to keep trying to block Terry Labonte down the front stretch. Labonte drove it off deep into turn 1. Got in the back of the 40 of Marlin. Marlin then kind of pinches him up the racetrack. Labonte's car just turned straight left on him again there. Now Ricky Craven drives it in deep. Not only blocking Labonte off, but he gets to the inside of Michael Waltrip. Craven still trying to block Terry Labonte meanwhile. I think there's been more contact with Labonte and whether it's another car or the wall already today than what we had in the majority of the Dover race yesterday. Hasn't been hard contact. Not yet, at least. Surprising, despite the high speeds on this race car, as he barely clears Michael Waltrip into turn 1. Labonte drafting Craven. These cars all over the place. Looks to the inside of Ricky Craven again. Craven, another big block. Into turn 3, Labonte looks to the outside. In the middle of the corner, and that's going to push him into the outside wall. Wasn't a good idea to try the outside that time for Terry Labonte. It definitely costed him a chance to get around not only Ricky Craven, but Bill Elliott as well. Labonte's car is getting really tight as this run carries on. Might have tightened it up a little too much. I'm sure that lack of practice is definitely hurting Labonte. That time the car set really well into turn 3. Big gain of momentum for Labonte on Elliott. Looking all the way down to the inside, breaking the draft. Believe he's inside of Elliott. Oh yeah, he's definitely inside of him. He should take the spot away into turn 1. This little slide job. Labonte going to get around Bill Elliott. Now looking to maybe pass Ricky Craven. Craven has been blocking the heck out of Terry Labonte right now as they go off into turn 2. Labonte lets him go. It's going to allow Terry to beat him back to the gas. Craven's going to try to make him pass him on the outside, which Labonte already tried that in turn 3 earlier, and it didn't work out for him. Now a little bump and run. Slid right to the back bumper of Ricky Craven, moves him up out of the way, and now Labonte's in the wall. And Craven almost ran into the back of him. But Labonte still holds clear. Craven had to check up so much there. Craven drives it in deep now into turn 1. He's going to get back around Labonte again as Labonte cannot get his car to turn in the center of the corner. Get out of the gas so much there. Stays in front of Elliott, but Craven with a good crossover going to get right back around Terry Labonte. I don't think these guys are going to be able to go a full 40 laps on this run. We'll see. Oh, Craven blocking Labonte down towards the grass. They make contact. Wow. And again, Labonte gets around Ricky Craven. Terry going to try to break the draft down to the inside and not allow Ricky Craven to get back alongside of him. Labonte to the inside of Dale Jarrett. Nice clean pass hugging the curbing. Beautiful corner there by Terry Labonte. Brother Bobby almost hit the wall right in front of him as he battles Jeff Gordon for 12. Gordon, meanwhile, trying to get around Kevin Harvick. Terry Labonte to the inside of his brother Bobby off of turn 3. Now trying to draft off of Jeff Gordon as well. Labonte breaks that draft all the way to the inside where Gordon can't block him. Or at least chose not to. To get around Gordon. He's on the inside of Kevin Harvick. Terry Labonte up to 11th. Maybe he can get to the top 10 before the end of the first run. That'd be pretty impressive after starting last. Big run to the inside of Kurt Busch. All clear. Burton had a pretty solid car last night at Dover. A little contact between the 5 and the 22. Wow, Labonte almost squeezed into the side of Rusty Wallace. And Wallace barely keeps it off the wall as well. Wasn't a lot of room. Both drivers stayed in the gas and didn't want to lift at all, not giving an inch. Labonte slides the tires into turn 1, clearing Rusty Wallace with a slide job. And Rusty's going to try to cross him back over to the inside, but Labonte's going to block him now. I think any race cars at Pocono is dangerous in general. I mean, again, there has been some very, very bad accidents in the Cup Series even there. Bonnie again in the wall off of turn number 3. Seems like of any area of the racetrack that Labonte struggled the most, it's been the exit of turn 3. Especially as this run just keeps getting later and later. The car just keeps tightening up. Oh, Kurt Busch right in the back of Labonte. Rusty Wallace able to get on by. I wanted to pull up in front of Rusty Wallace, and the car just turned straight into the wall. This game makes me look like I'm a terrible driver. It's not the game. I should say this controller makes me look like I'm a terrible driver. The car itself is tight, but down the straightaways, that wiggling you see is not me. Just always remember that. It's not me. Like, that right there is not me. That is the controller and how touchy it is. Yeah, Labonte's definitely going to be making an adjustment during the first pit stop of the day that will, again, be coming up here very shortly. Just a handful of laps away, if not less. For green flag pit stops. I'm sure we're going to see our first drivers coming to pit road very shortly. Ooh, almost a little contact up ahead. between Matt Kenseth and Jeff Burton. Burton coming to pit road anyway. So our first set of drivers hitting pit road at lap 33 that last time. How about Terry Labonte? Only 4.6 off the lead now. It's insane how it slides like that, but it's pretty tight for the most part, though. It's just the car wanting to turn too much on corner entrance is why you see that tire smoke and it looks like it's loose. Because it is, but that's just the analog stick. Terry Labonte going to get on by Kenseth. Wow, he actually stuck turn 2 beautifully. Johnson almost got in the wall on corner exit there, and now Terry Labonte going to get to the inside of Jimmy Johnson as well. Into turn 3, Labonte makes the pass. And sticks it enough to where he's going to keep it off the wall off of turn 3 as well. Great corner there for Labonte. He's going to try to stay out as long as he possibly can. Maybe he can get that first lap lead of the day. He's only got one more car ahead of him that has to pit. That would be Ryan Newman in the 12. Still a couple seconds ahead of him as well. Just look at how much Labonte lifts on the exit of the corner there. He's got about a gallon of gas left before he comes to pit road. Now to lap 36. He's got to be losing so much time. Giving up that much ground in turn 3. He's tight in turns 1 and 2, but not as bad as what he is in turn 3. Turn 3 is the flattest corner as far as banking goes of the 3 here at Pocono. I'm sure that's playing into a huge effect. And a huge factor. Another graze off the wall. About 37. Somehow Labonte gained ground on Newman that last lap, but I highly doubt it was because of turn 3. He's been making mistakes there all night long. Big drift into turn 1. A lot more wiggling action with the race car. Labonte's going to be coming to pit road this time at lap 37 for his first stop of the day, so it doesn't look like he's going to lead a lap. He was hoping Newman was going to pit before him, but Labonte's not going to be able to go another lap on fuel, it looks like. So, not one of the first cars to pit, but he shouldn't be one of the last ones to pit. Oh, wow, Labonte's out of gas off of turn 2. Terry Labonte ran it out of gas off of turn 2 and has to coast it to pit road. This is going to cost him a ton of time. I did not think that that was going to happen. Johnson blowing on by him. Four fresh tires, full tank of fuel, half a round of wedge being taken out of the car for an adjustment. Damage will be repaired on the Cheez-It Chevrolet of Terry Labonte. XY Games, welcome to the stream. So Labonte ran out of gas off of turn 2. I did not see that coming. I thought he was going to have enough fuel to make it to pit road. And now the Jackman falling onto his knees, going to the left side of the race car. Has to fix his helmet. That was a slow stop. 18.9 seconds for Terry Labonte and his crew on pit road. Huge amount of time lost in the pits for Labonte. Huge amount of time lost for him coming to pit road with being out of gas for about half of the racetrack. And had to coast it. He's only going about 90 miles an hour by the time he got off of turn 3. And he was one of the last drivers to pit. currently shown in 17th, although I don't think everybody has pit yet. Most of them have. About as straight as I've been down the front straightaway all day long. I almost overran turn 1 because of it. Boy, that was a huge lockup of the brakes there. Bonnie's a little over a third of a racetrack behind now. NASCAR Lover 4321, welcome to the stream. Forgot what these new tires can do. I'm driving in way too hot into these corners. So it looks like it should be about a 5 pit stop race here tonight. At least for Terry Labonte if this runs green to the end. It's a lot better that time for Labonte. Oh boy. Well, that time locking the brakes up did not work at all. Again, Labonte loosened the car up. He took a half a round to wedge out of it. I'm sure that's not going to help the car in the corners that much. I mean, it will later in the run, but early in the run, he was pretty fine with the setup he had. It's just way too tight at the end of it. So if it starts to tighten up again, maybe it'll be better at the end of the run. But for the beginning of the run, he's going to have a little bit harder of a time with this race car. Jeff Gordon starting to close in for position on his teammate Labonte here. Again, this is for 17th. Well, at least we know that for next time, and at least it was early in the race. Hopefully Labonte can recover from it, though. I really can't with this analog stick, I swear. I'm not having this around this track for 500 miles tonight.
Number 24.
Like, this makes me look so much worse than what I actually am. I've hit the wall so many times already. I've clipped the grass so many times already. I've done both of those things in one sitting and ended up making contact with another driver on accident a few times tonight as well. Like, look at this. Like, the analog stick sucks on this controller. I mean, it's just terrible. I've been trying to fix my other controller so I can get that one back, because I hate this one. Both of them I got, both the new ones. Way too touchy.
The 40 car is outside.
Jeff Gordon got around Labonte the last lap. Sterling Marlin bulls around him on the outside as well. Flat out outbraking Labonte now. Joshua Rumsey, welcome to the stream. I might have to get a PS2 wheel, but I don't know. Hopefully that's not touchy too, because boy, if that's touchy, we're really going to have some issues. That, and I've never used one for this game, so I don't know how that would work. I mean, it would work the same way, obviously, it would on the PS4. I'm just saying, it's already being a harder game as it is. It will take a lot of getting used to, that's for sure. Ricky Rudd has closed in on Terry Labonte now. Terry's about 19 seconds off the lead.
Number 21 is going on.
Ricky Rudd trying the outside into turn 1. That's how Gordon and Marlin got around him the last couple laps, but Labonte beats him back to the gas there. Labonte's kind of pulling him down the second straightaway now. Good corner into turn 2. And Labonte's starting to gain that ground back on Sterling Marlin again. Wyatt Hansen, welcome to the stream. Almost a quarter of the way through the Pocono 500 tonight. That's where Labonte ran for most of that opening run, was right around 19. That's where he's running right now. Labonte's just trying to stay in the draft of Marlin right now. Hugging the curbing on the bottom of the racetrack in turn 3. Now trying to draft Marlin. It's going to give Labonte quite a bit of speed into turn 1. 207 miles an hour going into turn 1. A good corner exit there by Terry Labonte. All the way down to the grass. Goes Marlin to try and make a block. Labonte locks the brakes up. He gave the bump and run to Marlin earlier because Marlin was blocking the heck out of him, and now we got a caution somewhere on the racetrack. So the race back to the caution flag. Caution's out for the first time today at lap 46. Well, that's going to help Labonte out. Get him right back into this after a couple mistakes earlier. Oh, wow, around. Oh, hard hit, too. Dale Jr., I think he was the race leader. No, he was in 6th at the time. And just gets drilled by the lap car of Jack Sprague. A spin in turn 1 for Dale Jr. running in the 6th spot. And then Jack Sprague just drilled him. And that will be the first caution of the day. Labonte's not going to pit. Most of the field did not pit. They're going to try to hold their track position as much as they can. Green flag back in the air at Pocono. Lap 51 on the restart. We're a quarter of the way home. So that was our first caution of the race. Oh, great restart by Ricky Rudd. It's made a great restart by him and just a poor restart by Terry Labonte. He did not take off there at all. And everything is bunched back together again here at Pocono. He's going to get back to the inside of Rudd at least. Double file restart for those first couple rows at the front. There were some lap cars up there. Bonnie almost made contact with Ricky Rudd. Trying to outbrake him into turn 2. And he does, barely. They both drove it in there hard. And they're going 3x3 again like they were at the very start of the race. Restarts are known to be crazy at Pocono. A little contact a little further up in the pack now. Not sure who all made the contact. Oh boy, Marlin and Wallace about got into one another. Look at Sterling Marlin blocking the heck out of Terry Labonte again. He's having a hard enough time with his race car. Dale Jarrett moving all over the place now as well. 3 wide again off of turn 1. Labonte underneath of Marlin and Gordon. Marlin trying to squeeze the gap. They're 4 wide into the tunnel turn, and Marlin kind of took Labonte's line away. They make contact. Marlin just squeezed into a gap that wasn't there when they tried to go 4 wide. Now into 3, Labonte slides, barely keeps it off Gordon. Marlin's at minus 58 right now with Terry Labonte. It has been 5 races since Labonte has had a rival. He is very, very close to having one little lick, but Marlin has been racing Labonte so hard all night long. We contact the teammates again of Gordon and Labonte. Slightly in turn 1 as Labonte's car wiggling so much. He's trying to hold on for dear life. Oh, there he goes again with Craven. Just accidental contact everywhere. Now Stanton Barrett, a lap down, is blocking Terry Labonte. It is a block fest today. It's a block party. Down to the inside goes Terry Labonte. Marlin thought about blocking him, but not really going to work out for Terry right there. He gained a little bit of ground, though, breaking that draft from behind. Oh, little contact again. Marlin's still not a rival with him. Labonte's fortunate. Very, very fortunate. Now he drafted Michael Waltrip. He's at least going to pull him on by the 40 car. Not going to have to worry about him. Waltrip to the inside of Ward Burton. Great run in the center of the corner by Terry Labonte, but Waltrip blocks him off. Oh! Ward Burton just drilled Labonte. I don't think he realized they were 3 wide going into turn 3. I really don't think Ward Burton thought they were 3 wide. That was a pretty hard hit, too. No major damage on Labonte's car, but that could have been really, really bad. Labonte trying to hang the outside, but he got in the wall. Couldn't hold that line with battling Michael Waltrip. Oh, boy, contact! Marlin tried to squeeze in there. He was on the curbing, couldn't go any lower, and Labonte got loose, and they made contact again. And now Terry Labonte better stay in front and stay away from Sterling Marlin because Marlin is heated. Marlin's right behind him. That's the first rival Labonte's had in 5 races. Guess it was a matter of time. I should have known we weren't going to go the rest of the season without one, especially with the way the analog stick's been acting. If we lose this championship this year and we can't get the hang of things very quickly with this new controller, it's not even new anymore. We've had it for a week. I wouldn't consider it new. It's newer, but it's got at least a few full races with it. It's just not breaking in. It is a different color. I don't know if that's got anything to do with how the controllers handle with the PS2. It could. I doubt it does. So I've got a red one, 2 red ones that I bought. And the original one I had was blue. So, again, that shouldn't matter. But if it does, then I'm buying another blue one. Oh, there's a swing. Sterling Marlin tried to wipe out Terry Labonte right in the center of the corner. Got to be careful. Marlin trying to get to the inside. I thought he was trying to get on the left rear of Labonte. He came close to turning him there. Labonte underneath Waltrip for position. He's got the spot. Trying to trap Bill Elliott. Oh, this is going to be a move right here. Up the middle, 3 wide. That's not going to work. Contact with Elliott. Big slide into turn 1 by Terry Labonte. 3 wide now again off the exit of turn 1 between Michael Waltrip and Sterling Marlin. Big run by Labonte off the back of the 99 of Jeff Burton. Deep dive into turn 2 underneath Burton. Good racing going on at Pocono nonetheless since the restart. Bonnie just back to the inside again. He really wants to stay in front of Sterling Marlin, knowing Marlin will take another shot at him if he gets a chance. 3 wide. Burton just ran Labonte in the grass, trying to take a move up the middle. And not only bouncing off the 5 car, but here he comes. And now Marlin with another hit. Labonte's right side of his race car is red after the contact with Marlin, as Marlin tried to intentionally wreck him again in turn 3. Heavy damage to the right side of Terry Labonte's Chevrolet. And I think Labonte's had enough of Marlin here today. He was blocking even before he was a rival, and all that blocking caused him to be a rival. It's been a while since Labonte's even attempted payback on anybody. I don't know how it's going to work with this controller. We haven't tried that yet. Labonte just kind of shoved Marlin to the inside of Rusty Wallace. Not exactly what Labonte had in plan there. I don't know how many more hits that right side of Labonte's car can take here, so he's got to be really, really careful. Dale Jr. starting to come back after that spin. A little damage he had picked up. Wow, big bounce off the curb by Jr. in turn 2 as well. Labonte's just kind of following, not Mark Martin, Sterling Marlin. Marlin just ran right into the side of the 99 of Jeff Burton. That was a big slide into turn 3 as well by Terry Labonte. Rusty Wallace gets back around him. Dale Jr. on fresher tires is going to get on by. How high Labonte is in the corner. Definitely didn't get to stick the way he wanted to there. Bonnie drove it in hard into turn 2, back underneath Jr. and Jeff Burton. Bill Elliott now trying to block Rusty Wallace. Contact to the right side of Labonte's race car with Jeff Burton that time. That could have ended the day for Labonte. More heavy damage to the right side. It's heavy enough as it is. He's got to be careful. This guy's blocking him, though, like crazy. Everybody's blocking everybody, though. That's the thing. It's not like they're only blocking Labonte. Everybody's just blocking everyone they can, trying to hang on to every spot they can. It's just not working. A lot of hard battling here in the middle of the pack. Labonte just shot Rusty Wallace into a gap underneath the 40 car of Marlin as they battle it out for 8th place? Yeah, 8th place. Labonte another big wiggle. Getting into turn 3. Oh boy, he accidentally washed up into the 40 there. Jr. almost gets to the outside, and now he does get to the outside of Terry Labonte. Dale Jr. had a huge run there. Bill Elliott trying to follow him on the outside. Labonte sticks the inside line, the preferred line in turn 1 though, able to clear Elliott right back again. Labonte drafting Dale Jr. Right into the back of Dale Jr. Down to the inside. Jr. trying to squeeze perhaps 3 wide. Thought he didn't want to get squeezed down the racetrack again. He's all over the back of the 40, and he puts him in the wall. Labonte just put Marlin in the wall. A little bit of payback there. Well, Allen drove that car in there hard.
Number 40 is outside.
He's all over the back bumper of Terry Labonte again. Labonte better be careful. He just drove that 40 car into the wall. Now he kind of overdrove turn 2. Well, he didn't overdrive it. He actually got it to stick in the center of the corner. Surprisingly.
He's got some revenge built up.
Now, pit stops are going to be coming up very, very soon. Oh, trouble! Car up in smoke. Kevin Harvick. We stay green. A lot of drivers checked up right there. And Labonte had to go through the grass in turn 3 just to miss Harvick. Rusty Walls got held up as well. I'm surprised nobody drilled Harvick there. That was a very close call. Labonte was coming in there hot, and if he didn't go to the grass, that would have been a huge accident. Labonte actually gained about 2 spots out of it. Tough break for Harvick, though. Had a pretty solid day. Diamond Jeff, welcome to the stream. About 6 gallons of fuel left in Labonte's race car. Dale Jr. again was the only driver to hit pit road under that last caution. He's got the freshest tires in the field. He literally came from the rear of the field all the way up to 7th, and he's still charging forward. He's definitely pulling Labonte right now.
You haven't got much longer on that left front tire.
With how bad this analog stick is, I don't think it's going to take a hard hit into the outside wall to end this race for Terry Labonte here today, so he has to be very careful. If the car starts to tighten up and the center off again, especially off of turn 3 like it was the entire first run for the most part, he needs to be very careful, and he might consider bringing it to pit road soon and just try to short pit. He's only got about a quarter of a tank left.
Keep digging. You still need to pick up about 8 seconds on the leader.
Bonnie hard on the brakes into turn 2. Gets it to stick again. Really closed the gap. Now into turn 3. Oh, another big slide as he ran right in the back of Mark Martin accidentally into turn 3. An unintentional bump and run. And Labonte's up to 7. Ryan Berwick, welcome to the stream. One caution so far today. Came out not that long ago. About 15 to 20 laps ago, and it was for Dale Jr., who was running 6th at the time, spinning in turn 1. Jack Sprague was collected. Honey, he's got a lot of worn out tires right now as he tries to run down Tony Stewart now for 6th. Junior back to the top 5. That car was turning left, and I wasn't even turning it. I was just on the brakes. I was on the brakes early, getting into turn 1. The car was just turning by itself. Sorry, this analog stick. It makes my driving look abysmal. Here's Tony Stewart. Labonte to the back bumper of Stewart. Backed out of the gas quite a bit going into turn 3. Looking underneath him. Tony going to try to block. "70 laps complete." Labonte's got to be careful, though. He's got heavy damage on the right side of his race car. Some drivers have just come out of the pits. Another big drift into turn 1. Labonte trying to hang on to his race car.
Just entering the track ahead. Be careful.
Look at Stewart trying to block for his life and save every little position he can to the second pit stop of the race. A little bump. Loosening Stewart up off of turn 2 and Labonte to the inside of him going into turn 3. Outbreaks him into 3 and Terry Labonte will take over the 6th position from Stewart. Problem is with Junior already hitting pit road under the caution, Labonte's probably not going to be able to lead any laps on this run either. He has not led a lap yet today. Wants to get 5 bonus points as soon as he can. I don't think he's going to get it anytime soon. Yeah, Labonte's going to get payback at Marlin next time he sees him. That's for sure. We got minimal payback. A little bump and run to get around him. Put him in the wall, too. He tried to wreck us like 3 times. And he was blocking the heck out of us before that, too. So, yeah, that's... it's one thing to block us repeatedly, and then it's another thing to just flat out door slam us repeatedly on top of it.
Going inside.
He's only 5 seconds off the lead. It's not that bad. Remember, Junior in last night's race had a shot to win it there for a little bit. And he was just consistently throughout the course of the race anywhere between 4 to 11 seconds off the lead. And he chipped away in the second half of the race from 11 and a half seconds down to eventually taking the lead at one point in time. Junior's getting held up right now with the lap traffic. Could be what Labonte needs. Labonte can maybe go another 2 to 3 laps on fuel, and that'll be about it. Hard on the brakes into turn 3. Shouldn't say lap traffic in front of Dale Jr. Side-by-side drivers battling for position. I believe that's Ryan Newman and Jimmy Johnson. Yep, it is both Johnson or Newman. Car coming out of the pits. 3 wide into the corner as they try to go around the lap car to the inside. Now he's in the way as he tries to get up to speed. Junior almost slid into Johnson. 3 wide to the bottom goes Labonte. It's going to get tight going into the tunnel turn. Remember, heavy damage on Labonte's race car. He's got to be careful. Trying to outbrake Junior and Newman. Doesn't want to make any kind of contact with the 2 drivers to his outside. Newman trying to block Junior. And Labonte blocks Newman. Overdrove the corner just a little bit. Gallon of gas left for Labonte. Still holds clear. Newman came to the pits. Labonte is ahead of Dale Jr. Kurt Busch now leads this race.
32 cars down left. You're clear.
Surprise on those older tires right there. Labonte stuck turn 1 beautifully. Tenths of a gallon left. He's monitoring it in case he can go another lap on fuel. Ran way too short last time, so it's honestly got to be right around that, at least a half a gallon, if not 6/10 of a gallon, to try and make it on fuel an extra lap here. Another big slide of the tires getting into turn 3 by Labonte. At least he's loose now in that corner instead of tight. If he was tight, his race would have ended by now with the damage. Well, Labonte didn't pit. Lap 76. He might be running dry again. I'm not entirely sure. Going into the corner. Oh, big slide. Right in front of Michael Waltrip, who came off of the pit lane. And works his way back up onto the racetrack again. Big run by Terry Labonte to the inside of Bobby. Battle for second with the Labonte brothers into turn 2. Terry locks the brakes up. Clears Bobby Labonte on corner exit. And he's out of fuel. Same spot he was last time. Yep, took it a lap too long again. Terry Labonte did not learn from his mistake. And these cars got to watch out to his outside. Bonnie actually ran out a hair sooner this time than what he did the last time. It's unfortunate to make the same mistake on the first 2 stops of the day. No adjustments, 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel for Labonte. They had a slow pit stop last time too. Andrew Hollenbach, welcome to the stream. Tires seem old. They do seem old. Pit stop going on now for the second time tonight, at least for Labonte and his crew, and they need a lot better stop than what they had the first time. .6. Well, Labonte came out right behind Sterling Marlin. This guy's going to have to watch these lead lap cars as they come back up onto the racetrack. Well, you guys know the drill. If Labonte gets back to Sterling Marlin, it could get pretty ugly here. No heavy damage on Labonte's car again. He's willing to get payback on him now. Tempers have more than flared here at Pocono today. After that mistake by Labonte, he can kind of use a caution here, and I'm sure he has no problem taking out Sterling Marlin if he gets to him. Now, he is on the lead lap right now, too, so that's another thing. Yes, he costed himself time coming to pit road, running a little bit short on fuel again. Yeah, I didn't even think about running the access road in turn 3 there. I didn't even think about it. We ran out right in the middle of turn 2. Kind of missed it. It's really thin on this racetrack, but yeah, my bad. I probably should have done that. That would have been a little quicker route too. A little bit safer on top of it. Bonnie's been struggling with the race car all day long. That's why he hasn't even been really close to even leading a lap today. He's been as high as second in the running order, but that's because he's been one of the last drivers to stay out of the pits before his pit stop every time. Going to be halfway home here before the end of this fuel run. tires did not hold up in turn 1. There was a big skid going into the corner there for Labonte that time. He's got that 22 car of Ward Burt not far behind him, and it seems like Ward is slowly closing in on Terry Labonte as well. There is no way I would think that Terry Labonte's this far off the lead. Unless everybody didn't hit pit road. The fact he's 41 seconds back is pretty insane. I think Dale Jr. is leading the race. I think that's why. Because remember, Jr. had hit pit road under the lone caution after he had brought the caution out after spinning all by himself in turn 1, and then had that little bit of damage to go along with it when Jack Sprague piled in. Both the 0 and the 8 of Sprague and Jr. still on the racetrack. That was a good corner in turn 3. Marlin desperately trying to get around the car in front of him. Tried the outside in turn 3. He's getting pinched off now down the main front stretch. He battles Joe Nemechek for position. Tell you what, if Labonte gets back at Marlin, Marlin better get that car turned around as quick as he can, because the leaders are only, again, about 10 seconds behind where these guys are running on the racetrack right now that we're seeing on the screen. No, I'm getting payback now. We need a caution now. We're way off the lead, and who knows if I'm even going to get an opportunity to do it again in this race. I don't want to keep procrastinating every week either. Get this rivalry done and over with as soon as possible. But on my terms, of course.
Number 40 is blocking.
And Joe Nemechek's definitely holding up Marlin. Marlin now finally going to get to the inside. And he should get around him. Oh, he almost made contact. Tell you what, Marlin better be careful. He takes off more than one Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet.
The 40 car is going to make it hard.
It might be even uglier.
The 25 car is outside.
Labonte's got to run to the inside of Nemechek into turn 2.
Still there. You're dropping back. What's
Two
wrong?
teammates side by side all the way through the tunnel turn. I'm surprised they held it as cleanly as they did. They both gave each other enough space. Labonte clears him. Blocked the brakes, though, going into turn 3. Nemechek tries to cross him over. Labonte with the block in the center of the corner, but a clean pass nonetheless for the position. Well, here we go. Coming into this race, the top 8 are within one race of the point standings. Labonte sits 8th right now. If I'm not mistaken, Sterling Marlin's in the top 10 in points as well. Labonte gains a ton of ground, hugging the curbing in turn 2. Labonte's getting closer to him. Long run speed starting to come to Terry. Stuck turn 3 beautifully that time as well. Turn 3's kind of been the weak spot, though, for Labonte today.
Is attempting a box. Number 40 is going for the box.
Marlin's just even holding that protective line. Ooh, Labonte drove it in deep into turn 2. Got it to stick. All over the back of Sterling Marlin as they go into turn 3.
Car is getting in your way.
Marlin just able to stay in front of him. Both drivers hooked turn 3 beautifully. Bonnie's got to try to use that draft down the straightaways to really get a run on Sterling Marlin. And he's got a run right there. He just can't quite get to his outside. He has to brake to make the corner. He arced that turn off a lot better. Race leader coming to pit road by the way of Dale Jr. He's on a different pit strategy right now, which is not good. He needs a caution before he came to pit road. So now he's going to lose the lead when he comes off the pits. Big run there for Labonte. He's on the outside. Oh, and he hooks Marlin into the grass. They both go. Labonte gets his payback, hooking Sterling Marlin going into turn 3. That was about as clean as he could have done it. As they race back to the caution flag, our second yellow of the race. Oh, Marlin nosed it into the inside guardrail as well, unless he saved it. I doubt he saved it, though. Camera angle kind of cut away at the last second. It's hard to tell if he hit the wall or not. It didn't look like the car was that damaged, but I'd have to assume he hit the wall. And it's a track position game right now. And there's the current points as we run. Boy, if that caution came out a lap sooner, that would have been perfect for Junior. Green flag back in the air. Double file restart with the lap cars to the inside of the lead lap cars. Bonnie's not taking off on the restarts that well here today. Oh, Nemechek in the grass trying to get around his teammate, and he drilled him on the restart. 4 wide now off of turn 1. Another chaotic Pocono restart. Hard on the brakes into turn 3 as they're 3x3 into the tunnel turn. I'm surprised everybody held it as well as they did. No further contact, at least for the moment. Bonnie's got a big run in the draft on the back of Steve Park. Oh, Labonte overdrives the corner into the side of the 88 of Dale Jarrett. Robbie Gordon about got pinched off by Park and Jeff Burton himself there. Oh, Labonte gets loose. Trying not to overcorrect it. Loses a ton of ground. Now into turn 1. Labonte lost a few spots there. Car just again wiggles too much down the straightaways. Labonte couldn't hang on to it. More accidental contact. That costed him a ton. Boy, there's an awkward angle into turn 2 on entrance. Labonte definitely messed it up. Oh! Oh, Ward Burton made contact! He drove it in too deep. 4 wide! Off of turn 3! Oh my goodness. Kenny Wallace hanging on. I think he's a lap down though. His car again just not staying straight down the straightaways. Really drifts it into turn 1 as well. Bit of an overdrive there in turn 3. Dale Jarrett's about to get ticked off here. And Terry Labonte's just trying to hold a straight line down the straightaways, and he just can't do it. He's at minus 54. Massive run. But Jarrett now starting to block Terry Labonte. Benson pulled down right in front of Labonte, who had a head of steam going into turn 2. Both these guys in the top 10. Shout out for Johnny Benson after qualifying 40th again here today. Benson up to 11th, was in the top 10. And somehow Sterling Marlin had one heck of a restart, because he is ahead of Labonte. Unless he went a lap down, which is not impossible, but I don't think he would have went a lap down after that spin. So Labonte's going to have to be careful when he gets alongside of him. Wow, Jared hard into turn 3. Couple lap cars, Jerry Nadeau, Casey Mears right around him. Bonnie's just trying to follow him. At least that share draft is available down these long straightaways here at Pocono, so that's kind of helping patch the relationship between the two of those drivers at least a little bit. We're almost halfway home here today at Pocono. Here's Junior coming from outside the top 10 on another restart, and again with fresh tires, as he tries to get through the field. Labonte to the outside of Casey Mears. Not sure if this is going to work. Couldn't outbrake him. Labonte just trying to keep it off the wall. That wasn't a wise decision to try the outside. He kept it off the wall barely, though. But Junior gets around him for 9th. I think Junior was going to get around him anyway, though. Dale's got the fresh tire advantage right now, and it's paying wonders for him. Yeah, I'm not upset with Dale Jarrett at all. I'm upset with my joystick for making me go in a squiggly line down the straightaways. 3 wide off of turn 1. The 2 DEI cars to the inside of Sterling Marlin. I don't know how Marlin got ahead of Terry Labonte. I don't think that's for position. At least I wouldn't think it is. The only thing I could think of is Marlin was one of those guys that escaped to the outside of Labonte when Joe Nemechek kind of ran into the side of him earlier. Best chance for Labonte to get around Marlin is if he can get to the inside of Mark Martin, take him 3 wide. He might try to do that going into turn 1. Boy, if Labonte can't get around that way, though, and Martin's blocking, that's not going to work. Martin drove it in deep into turn 1. No, Labonte slides way up the track, and he's in the wall. Oh, Marlin bounces off the wall as well. Well, that's one way for Labonte to get around him. They both got the wall in turn 1. Labonte tries to outbrake Casey Mears into turn 2 and stay in front of him. Well, at least Labonte's back in the top 10. It's been a hectic last 50 laps or so. Ever since that first caution came out, really. That was at lap 46. Again, we're about halfway done here with the Pocono 500. Tell you what, though, 2 cautions have definitely bailed out Terry Labonte as far as those 2 green flag stops went for him today because, remember, he ran out of fuel both times coming to pit road off of turn 2. Forgot Casey Mears is... Well, Chip Ganassi didn't really have the most competitive equipment at this time, outside of Sterling Marlin. That was about it. Jamie McMurray won 1 race with him on fuel mileage, and it was in that 40 car when he filled in for Marlin. Because both Reed Sorensen and Casey Mears just didn't run well in that 41 car at all. And they both had all right Xfinity or Busch Series careers at the time. Slide of the tires. Bonnie barely stays in front of Kurt Busch. Blocking Kurt into turn 3. Well, 100 laps down, 100 laps to go. Well, Casey Mears got that win for Hendrick Motorsports in 2007. That wasn't with Chip Ganassi. And we all know Hendrick Motorsports equipment is, especially at that time period, was as good of equipment as he could have had, really. That 2007 season just really showed it as a whole. They won half the races. We're going to alternate to the different camera angles for the first time tonight. About the next dozen laps. Not sure how this is going to go. I mean, how hectic this race has been off and on here today. I don't think it's going to be a very wise decision. We'll see how it works out. Big drift getting into turn 3 underneath Mark Martin. What a drive by Terry Labonte. Despite getting loose. And he somehow clears Mark Martin on corner exit as well. I didn't think he was going to have a chance to clear Mark there, but he definitely did. Martin tries hard to the outside. Labonte blocks him off as he slides up the racetrack right in front of him. For 9th would be the battle. I think most of these drivers have to kind of be thinking this one thing. How can they gain track position on Junior? Reason being, with Junior pitting under that first caution of the day, nobody pitted under caution number 2, by the way. it made for a very interesting situation because Junior might be able to make it on one less stop than the rest of the field. If we don't get another caution at least, and nobody pits under that said caution. Things have just gotten really interesting as far as that goes. I mean, even after Junior spun and being the only driver to pit there, and the reason why everybody stayed out is because of how hard it is to pass on this racetrack. How aggressively everybody's been driving as well to hold on to their track position. Track position means everything. Lifting down the straightaway to try and help set the car, it still wasn't setting it. Oh boy. A little bit of a moment there in turn 3. Car was pointed towards the grass and then it just shot up the racetrack off the curbing. Barely kept it off the wall. First driver's coming out of the pits. That damage you see on the left front, by the way, is very minimal. And it was when Labonte had spun the 40 of Marlin out trying to get his payback on him. That brought out the last caution. I didn't realize how far Labonte's off the lead as well. 9.9 seconds. Tires are starting to wear out a little bit more over the course of this run as well. Running the draft though through turn 1. Labonte to the inside of Matt Kenseth. Trying to outbrake him into turn 2. Kenseth's still there though. Labonte looks to the inside of Dale Jarrett. Another big slide on corner entry. Labonte grips it to the bottom. They were 3 wide into turn 3 when Labonte slid the tires, and they still never made contact with one another. And all clear, by the way. Labonte does make the pass on Dale Jarrett. What a move! Oh, a little contact! Jarrett's not a rival, luckily. Jarrett drove it in hard on the outside. Labonte got tight at the same time and couldn't keep it off of him. Tagged his left rear just a tad bit. Now the left rear is starting to wear out a little more. Kyle Petty on those fresher tires, by the way, is just gotten on by the 5 of Labonte. Ooh! A couple cars got into one another. Going off into turn 3. I believe one of them was Ryan Newman. He ducks to pit road. Not sure who else made contact in there. we'll see when we get closer to the couple cars that are just ahead of Labonte. This car just turned left all the way into the grass. And he's in the wall off of turn 1 now. Because of how deep he drove into the corner and messed pretty much the entire corner up from that point on. Yeah, we pulled that same mistake off twice with the fuel economy, so we're going to make sure we don't make that mistake a third time. If we do it a third time, I don't think we can get lucky enough to come back from it. Well, we still never really fully recovered. Oh, man! Talk about a heart-sinking moment going into turn 1. Nadu was just coming off of the pit lane. Now he just flies by Labonte as Labonte again gets in the wall. So now Labonte's getting tight off of turn 1. Earlier it was turn 3.
Best place for him is in your rear view mirror. The leaders are pit.
Our fuel tank's almost dry. Ricky Rudd comes to pit road there. And even under this third fuel run of the race, Labonte's not going to be able to make it on fuel again.
Got one down low. That 9 car, he's still there.
This side draft. Oh, that didn't work for very long.
Clear.
I knew as soon as I pulled down the side draft and the car was going to just start wiggling again.
Car inside.
Oh, Kenny Wallace trying to move Terry Labonte out of the way there.
Car is right behind you.
Labonte gave him a little bit of room. I think Wallace has fresher tires and wants to go, but not the way Labonte wanted him to do it. Terry going to stay out another lap. About 11 seconds off the lead, though. I think Junior's leading this race. Labonte really slid the tires. Getting into turn 1. And now we'll let Wallace go. So Labonte's going to pit this time by. He should be able to make it into the pit lane without sputtering this time. Labonte pushing it hard, has to make sure he doesn't speed. And he didn't. He gained time on Johnson ahead of him. That was a good move. 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel, no adjustments for Terry Labonte and his crew. Our third pit stop of the day. If we somehow pull this off, this would be the 3rd win in a row with Cheez-It on the car. And, man, a huge mistake. Boy, that took the left front tire changer a ton of time to get the car set and ready to go, as he just couldn't keep the wheel on long enough for him to get the lug nuts on. A 22-second pit stop for Terry Labonte as he pulls back up onto the racetrack. And that just put him a lap down. Now, granted, Dale Jr. still has to pit. That time it wasn't Labonte's fault. That was his pit crew's fault for costing him 4 to 5 seconds there. At least. A lot of these other guys probably had 16, 17 second stops. I mean, yeah, it's about 5, 6 seconds of time lost on pit road. Another slow stop and another mistake by Labonte's pit crew. It's been a few races since we've seen them make a mistake, but now they made 2 of them already tonight. First, the Jackman on the first stop, falling over trying to service the left side of the race car, and same thing with the left side of the race car again. It was the front tire changer. Couldn't get the wheel on. Now Labonte's got to race hard. We've seen 2 cautions already tonight. Doesn't want to see one in the middle of green flag stops here. He needs to get back on the lead lap.
Looks like some of the leaders are headed down pit road.
So these other drivers have been stretching it a little bit longer as well. For Busch, Rusty Wallace trying to get closer to maybe make a move on Labonte in the next couple corners, next couple laps. We'll see how it will go and when they will try to make the move, if they try to make the move. So there's the race leader, Dale Jr. on those older tires now, losing a lot of time. Though he was gaining time at the beginning of the run, trying to get to the lead.
The 97 car is looking to pass.
Busch looking to the outside. That might allow Rusty Wallace to get underneath him off turn 3. Nope, Wallace couldn't capitalize. So you're going to get another lap led. He might be racing for the most laps led tonight, too. Labonte trying to draft off of him. Kurt Busch maybe taking a peek to the inside. Labonte blocks him into turn 1. Ooh, that was a tight squeeze. Thought Kurt was going to get underneath the 5. Didn't quite do it. And Terry Labonte is going to clear Dale Jr. and get back on the lead lap. Kurt Busch trying to do the same. And Rusty Wallace will as well. So caution will not cost these guys. Slow car on the racetrack. Jack Sprague has just blown an engine. Tough break for Sprague. Oh, we got a caution. Turn 3. Somebody ran into the back of Sprague. And it's a good thing Labonte, Kurt Busch, and Rusty Wallace got back on the lead lap, because otherwise they would have gotten trapped a lap down. Hard crash in turn 3. Our third caution of the race. Sprague, who blew an engine, was on the inside of the track and just got drilled by Sterling Marlin. Oh, Marlin's out of the race now. Boy, karma on Sterling Marlin has really not done him well today. Labonte's going to hit pit road here. I'd have to assume Junior's going to pit too. Labonte wants to be on that same strategy. And I don't think anybody else is coming to pit road, so Labonte going to be on the same strategy as Dale Jr. now. 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel coming. Well, just top it off, I feel he was just in the pits. Yeah, this is going to be a fun battle between Dale Jr. and Terry Labonte. So Labonte out of the race, crashing into the back of Jack Sprague. Junior should win the race off pit road here. He was on pit road way before Labonte was. Yeah, there he goes pulling off. So not really going to be much of a battle between these two drivers. Yeah, Michael, we did not run out of fuel that time. So Marlin. Not only Labonte got payback on him, but Marlin was the driver who got knocked out of the race after running into the back of Jack Sprague. I think he had it coming. Definitely got dealt a bad hand. So now we get to see Junior and Labonte come from the rear of the field on the restart. From 14th and 15th, green flag back in the air with less than 80 laps to go. Can those two make it on one more stop? It's going to be close. Big checkup going into turn 1. Labonte almost ran into the back of Christian Fittipaldi. So Labonte's got to keep pace with Junior at least here. Junior just going up the middle 3 wide. So is Kurt Busch. Oh, 4 wide off the exit of the tunnel turn. They make it, no contact. Labonte back to the top 10 quickly. More contact a little bit further up ahead, though, that time, as they're still 3 by 3 inside the top 10. Some lap cars mixed in, of course. What a 4 wide move by Labonte out the exit of turn 2 to get around Dale Jr. as quickly as he could. I think Jeff Burton just got in the back of Hermie Sadler up there. Sadler got really loose again. There he got right in the back of his brother.
That's one more down. Best place for him is in your rear view mirror. You're clear. Got one eye.
I think Jeff Burton's not mad enough to take a swing. Terry Labonte, neither was Dale Jarrett. 4 wide off of turn 3. Once again. Oh, man, that got tight.
Still there.
And they're still 3 wide into turn 1. Be careful, everybody.
We don't want him getting beside us.
Jeff Burton, Ricky Rudd in the mix up there. Bill Elliott was as well. Boy, Burton really gained a lot of ground in turn 1. And Dale Jr., meanwhile, to the back bumper of Terry Labonte. He's probably got a faster car than Labonte, on top of the fact that both at least have equal fresh tires. So they got that going for them.
Can't see him block right about now. Clear on both sides.
Ricky Rudd starting to gain back ground on the inside. Came so close to winning at Dover last night, for those of you that might have missed it. Crazy finish in the last 40 laps of our race at Dover. Labonte got the win, taking the lead away from Rudd with 3 to go, and then holding off a Kevin Harvick-driven race car while Harvick had fresh tires. Was desperately trying to get around him on the last lap, but Labonte was able to hit his marks at least just enough. Wasn't perfect by any means on that last lap, but just enough to hang on to the lead. He just got in the right rear of Ricky Rudd in the 21 again. Bonnie's all over Rudd.
I'd like to see him stay back there.
Rudd with a lot higher corner entry. Gave up a lot of bottom. And Labonte gets underneath them again. Junior closing the gap. He's trying to draft Labonte as Labonte is drafting Newman, as Newman is drafting Johnson. All 4 of those guys on the inside lane going into turn 2. Newman was actually not drafting Johnson. He was drafting Mark Martin. Johnson was a little bit too far up ahead. Newman gets loose as he tries to make a pass on Martin. Poor position, of course. This run by Labonte into turn 1. Into the back of Martin. Another one of those accidental bump and runs. Oh, man. Into the back of Newman, and that forces the 5 to get loose. I don't know how Labonte not only was able to keep the car on the bottom of the racetrack and off of Mark Martin, but he held on to his position along the way. That was impressive. Despite the fact he was the one that made the mistake getting into turn 2 in the first place. Yeah, exactly. We don't have to worry about Marlin wrecking us out of the race. Junior to the outside. Bonnie barely keeps it off of him as he drifted up the track. Now they're 3 wide. Mark Martin back to the inside of Labonte again, and Dale Jr. is able to get around the 5. This could be an eventual battle for the lead between Jr. and Terry Labonte. Oh, Martin wipes him out into turn 2. What a save by Terry Labonte. What a save by Labonte. Mark Martin about wiped out Terry Labonte there. I'm not sure what that was all about. Martin to the curbing, and I think the curb might have shot him up the racetrack into Labonte. There was no way he was going to make that corner underneath him, but he definitely took a shot. Look at how far away Junior was able to pull away. Here's what I don't understand. Now Mark Martin's upset with us. Why is he our rival? Like, why? He hit us. Hopefully it's not minus 60. That'd be stupid if it was. Junior back to the bottom. Trying to make a pass on Newman. I think he's got it. Junior's going to be tough to catch now. I mean, he is almost a full second ahead of Terry Labonte right now. He's put a couple cars in between him. The one saving grace Labonte has is that Junior doesn't have the clean air yet. He's still got a few more cars to pass to get to the lead. There's a pretty good battle going for the lead there within the top 3 as well. Bonnie working to the inside of Jeff Green in the 1.
Still there. Take it easy on those tires.
Way too loose there.
Got one car. It's looking hot.
He does clear Green. Oh, Green hits the wall off of turn 3. He just kept going higher and higher, and there just wasn't enough room for him to go.
Just 2 seconds back.
Bonnie might have taken the air off the front nose of the race car in the center of the corner as well. A bit of aero push. Minus 46. All right, thanks for that, Michael. I didn't see it when the contact was initially made.
Okay, we're clear.
Junior almost went 3 wide for second. Newman with another strong block. I think this is Ryan Newman being Ryan Newman here. Labonte to the inside.
Still there. Number 12 is still there. Make it easy.
Going to be side by side until they get into turn 1.
Still there.
Try to keep him behind you.
Towards your line. Still
And Labonte makes the clean pass. Junior's up to second, Labonte to 4th.
We're clear.
Junior's just 1 pass away from having that track position. Nothing but clean air with those fresher tires. Equal tires as Labonte at least, but I think Junior's had a faster car all day long though. Labonte hasn't even led a lap yet, so Junior's definitely had a faster car. Qualified on the pole. The fact that Junior has the possibility of trying to go for a spin and win. That's after getting nailed in the rear bumper by Jack Sprague after that spin.
I'm talking the leader in about 2 seconds ahead.
It could be a fuel mileage race as well between Terry Labonte and Dale Jr. These guys are going to be close to making it on one more stop. Really, really close. They both pitted at the same time, but Junior's been able to go a little further than Labonte on fuel for most of the day. That could be nerve-rattling here for Terry Labonte. Remember, we saw a fuel mileage race in Season 1 at Pocono. in this very 500-mile race. Labonte had to pit that extra time. That's what cost him a chance to win it. He ended up finishing 10th still, but... Sorry, not Labonte. That was when we were running as Greg Biffle. My bad. But cost us a chance at the win. We ended up finishing 10th. I think it's going to be a lot closer on field this time around. It's Michael Waltrip. He's a lap down. Next car up ahead. Waltrip really high into turn 1. Labonte overdrove the corner himself. Dale Jr., by the way, took the lead that last lap. Labonte just kind of drafting Waltrip. Seems like Labonte just hasn't really had the straightaway speed. Contact with the back of Mikey. Not sure why Waltrip is exactly blocking right now. I mean, he could be helping his teammate out who is leading this race. Knowing that Labonte's probably his biggest threat just simply because of the pit strategy. If Labonte somehow wins this race, it's going to be because he pitted with Dale Jr. That would be the move of the race of itself. The fact nobody else came down, especially the second time. I can see the first time being not even a quarter of the way into the race when that first caution came out. But that one was a much different circumstance. Now we could get a 4th caution today, and that would just change everything. That would just throw out the strategy put in play for now.
Number 15 is looking light. You're clear.
Best place for him is in your rear.
Yeah, I was a Greg Biffle fan when I grew up as a kid. Roush in general, but Biffle was my favorite of the bunch. So I'll try to make one season racing as him when we do these older game playthroughs. And reliving my childhood racing as him in these older games. He had a huge head of steam into turn 2. He still got through there better than Johnson, but he didn't get through there that well either, overall. Thought he was going to undercut the corner a little too much there, but that wasn't the case either. Well, Hendrick has a car in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th right now. And Chevys fill out the top 5 entirely, with the DEI car on in front of Dale Jr. and then the 5th place car of Bobby Labonte for Joe Gibbs Racing. Johnson slowly starting to catch Jeff Gordon. It'll be a 3-car Hendrick battle for 2nd here before long. Bonnie really trying to back the corner up into turn 2. A beautiful drive off. Gets a little bit closer to Jimmy Johnson. I don't think he's close enough to make a move. He looks low into turn 3, though. Got it to stick off the curbing, and the curb got him just a little too loose. Slightly overdrove the corner. All 3 cars drafting each other. Down the longest straightaway in NASCAR. Labonte pulls out to make a move. Johnson with a block going off into turn 1. Oh, both the 48 and the 5 wiggle. Big run off of turn 1. Look at how low Johnson's blocking his teammate, trying to hang on to that track position. Well inside the top 5. Labonte beats him back to the gas off of turn 2 again. Labonte looks low. Johnson a little lower. Labonte trying to back the corner up again, trying to get to the inside of his teammate Jimmy Johnson. Now he does get to his inside off of turn 3. Drag race down the long pond straightaway. But Johnson getting the pull with the draft off the back of the 24 car, and that's able to, again, let him hang on to 3rd. Loose Moves as fast as he can hang on to it. Oh, low contact. Johnson pulled down right into him. Trying a desperation move again, but that time it didn't work. And Labonte's got the spot. Labonte almost ran in the back of Gordon. Johnson missed his marks. Almost got in the wall off of turn 2. We'll have 60 laps to go this time by. Oh, what a crossover move. Labonte underneath Gordon off of turn 3, hugging the inside line.
The 24 car is still there. Still there.
Labonte's going to stay low into turn 1.
Still there.
Battle for second.
Third, keep digging. Still there.
What a drive. Hard into turn 1 goes Labonte. He clears Jeff Gordon for second.
They're all around.
It's as high as Labonte has ran all day long. Still 3 seconds off the lead. And he does have fresher tires than everybody he's passed up to this point. Him and Junior on equal tires. It's going to be really tough to beat that 8 car today. We'll see what can be done. Maybe Junior does run out of gas at the end of the race. Who knows? Again, I doubt it, but you never know.
Leader's got 3 seconds on.
Labonte was able to go as far as 37 laps on a full fuel run today. And he ran out of fuel off of turn 2 after that. So, comes down. If he can just make it to 37 to go before he pits, Labonte's got a chance to at least make it on fuel to the finish. Whatever happens as far as him beating Dale Jr. goes, we'll have to wait, but it should be a guaranteed top 2. I think Junior and Labonte are the only 2 that can make it on one stop. Unless somebody miraculously is able to run like well over 40 laps. I don't see that happening. Got to alternate through the different camera angles one final time in today's race. Johnson to the inside of Gordon. For second, Bobby Labonte right behind Johnson. So it's a 3-car battle for third. "19 people have hit the like button here today. Thanks for everybody doing so. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already for more daily NASCAR content. Do these full race live streams, NASCAR video games every single day. Completely overdrove that corner. That was me that time. That wasn't the joystick. That was really strange. I don't usually do that on my own too much.
Leader's out front by 3.5 seconds. The 25 car now left.
Joe Nemechek was coming out of the pits, so Nemechek was the first driver in the pit. Yeah, he's definitely not going to go 56 laps at Pocono. Super Comic Boy 100, welcome to the stream. Yeah, you can set the race length to however long you want it. And we do full race live streams every day on the channel, again with a realistic broadcast. With these NASCAR video games in hopes of one day, me finding my dream job of broadcasting real races within the NASCAR realm. Bobby Labonte is really closing that gap right now on his brother Terry for second. He just passed both Johnson and Gordon for third within the last 2 laps, 1 each lap. Remember, Bobby Labonte won one of the Pocono races on season 1. Dale Jr. won the other one. So I guess it doesn't surprise me they're both in the top 3. Junior still got no lap traffic anywhere near him right now, too. This race is probably going to be really close to 3 hours by the time it comes to an end. We got less than an hour from the finish from now. And elapsed time, yeah, it will be about 3 hours. 500-mile race, and it's around Pocono. It's about 50 seconds to get a lap in here. I'll run the brakes into turn 2. Working the brakes through the center of the corner to hold the inside. Terry actually pulled away a little bit that last lap from his brother Bobby. Once again. Well, right when he was starting to pull away, Bobby Labonte closes the gap again. Boy, man, everybody seems to drive it in harder than Terry going into turn 1, and then Terry drives it harder than everybody else into turn 2. Weird how that works. I mean, it's obviously working out for him right now. Having a little bit different braking areas, at least in the first 2 corners. Turn 3 is pretty even with everybody else. He's been a little on the tight side. Turn 3, not as much as what he was at the start of the race. And they made that chassis adjustment. About 6 gallons of fuel, roughly, just over that, left in Terry Labonte's race car. And Jeff Burton's starting to claw through the field. He might be one of the drivers that just came off of the pit lane. Junior's still 3.9 off the race lead. Big run to the outside for Jeff Burton. Okay, I don't think that's for position. I think he was one of the drivers that just came off of pit road a few laps ago, so he's probably got fresher tires. So he is on the outside. There goes the analog stick, turning me way too far to the inside again. It's all right. Labonte basically just let Burton go easily to his outside. Well, Labonte's getting a little low on fuel. And again, he's trying to make it on one more pit stop. Seen fuel mileage races at Pocono before. Heavy lap traffic now for Junior. With these drivers with the fresh tires coming off the pit lane. Same goes for Terry Labonte. So this is what Labonte wanted to see. This might be his best opportunity to catch Junior on speed here tonight. I haven't cracked open that bag of Cheez-Its left. We'll have 50 laps to go in the race this time by. I might have to be doing that here pretty soon. Because when we've done that, while running the Cheez-It paint scheme and wearing my Cheez-It Greg Biffle hat, we have not lost a race. Trying to go 3 for 3 with doing that. We made it this far into the race. I think we got to try it. Nemechek, he definitely came out of the pits already. He was the first driver to hit pit road. Tries the outside, but that didn't work. Into turn 1, Labonte just a little bit smoother of a line. Terry can't even save any fuel, though, unless he gets in front of Dale Jr. He was in front of him for a little bit when they were working their way through the pack. We'll have to keep an eye out on when Junior pits as well to monitor his situation also. 2.4 off the lead for Labonte, so he is definitely closing that gap here very late in the run on Dale Earnhardt Jr. Jr. came into this race second in points, right behind Tony Stewart. Labonte came in 8th in points. Both those drivers, though, obviously within one race worth of points still. Labonte was 143 out coming into the day. Dale Jr. only 6 points off the points lead. And Junior's already led a lot of laps today as well. I think Stewart has at least 1 lap led, though. But Junior's been leading a ton. I wouldn't be surprised if he will clinch the most laps led by the end of the race.
You're clear.
He barely holds clear on Johnny Benson. 1.7 off the race lead. Benson's got to run to the outside of Labonte into turn 1. Labonte hard into the corner. Staying underneath the 10 car. 3 wide now. Nemechek to his inside contact with Labonte and Benson off of turn 1. Man, they both hang on to it though. They were 3 wide. Nemechek checked up on the inside as soon as they made contact. Well, definitely wasn't pretty. .4 off the lead. More of the lead pack coming to pit road. Labonte slides up the racetrack. Benson gets around him. Labonte in the wall off of turn 1. More time lost. He's just going to let Jeff Green go as well on fresher tires. No sense of holding these guys up anymore. Heck, maybe they can get around Junior themselves here pretty soon. So a pretty good race last night with a great finish. I think we're setting up for the same thing again here today. Pretty good but wild race at Pocono. Much like Dover, not a lot of cautions. Only had 1 at Dover last night. And 3 so far today. Now, Labonte's again more than 5 seconds off the lead. Or sorry, more than... I was looking at Bobby Labonte. Bobby Labonte. Gotta be more specific there. It's more than 5 seconds off the lead. Terry Labonte in second. It's just over 2 seconds back. Since Terry let Jeff Green go, means Green had fresher tires. Green's not really pulling away from him. Labonte drafting him. It's gonna help Bobby. Terry saved fuel. I've been messing up Labonte's more. My gosh. Last night I couldn't talk. I can't talk tonight. I don't know what's wrong with me. I mean, I have zero clue. My broadcasting abilities have not been on full display the last couple nights. It wasn't the finish of last night's race, but the race itself, not so much. Bill Elliott just got into Labonte's right rear. Labonte was loose enough as it was. That definitely didn't help. Labonte lifted a little bit more off the turn 1 to at least let Elliott go. Very low on fuel. I don't think Terry Labonte's going to make this race on 1 more stop. When is Dale Jr. going to pit, though? We'll have 54 laps to go this time. Junior coming to pit road. Labonte's going to at least lead a lap. That'll give himself 5 bonus points, so I guess it's good he's staying out a little bit longer. Newman's showing as the 3rd place car currently. Well, he cycled back through as the race leader, though, once Junior and Labonte come off the pit lane. Labonte's still going to stay out as long as he can, though. He didn't run it out of fuel last time. He's got to make sure he doesn't do that this time. Terry might have to pit this time by, though. That'll be 1 lap longer than Dale Jr. Junior short pitting, though. That's going to give him that fresh tire advantage for at least a lap. 0.6 of a gallon of fuel for Terry Labonte. Boy, he got tight off in turn 3. Kept it off the wall barely, though. So he's going to pit this time by. So he drafts Bill Elliott.
Oh, John, you still there? Careful.
Huge speed into turn 1. LSU Superfan, welcome to the stream.
Left side. The 25 cars coming up quick.
So Labonte coming to pit road this time. Stayed out a lap longer than Junior, but I still think they're going to be about 4 to 5 laps short on fuel. Well, Labonte is. I don't know about Junior. Junior might make it. I'm not entirely sure. He's been able to make it a little further than Labonte, but not this time for some reason. Well, Labonte ran out at probably the perfect moment.
Car is outside.
Right when he was going to start braking anyway, perfectly gets to pit road, no speeding penalty. 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel. Labonte and his crew have messed up 2 stops today. 2 20-plus second pit stops of the 4 up to this point. This is the 5th and final 4-tire stop at least. If he does have to pit again, it'll likely be fuel only. They really need a clean pit stop. Man, not the fastest stop, 20.6 seconds. Gotta wonder where Junior's at. He had that fresh tire advantage for a lap. Gotta be careful coming off the pit road. Oh boy, there's Bobby Labonte. Terry cycles in line right behind him. Terry Labonte's shown in 10th right now. Again, a lot of those drivers short pitted by quite a bit. But if Terry has to pit one more time to the finish, it's going to be a fuel-only stop. Even if he does lock the tires up trying to come to pit road, gaining every little bit of time he can. It looks like it should be a 6 pit stop day.
All right, now get hungry. We need to eat up this 10-second gap to the lead.
The only one who might be able to make it on fuel today is going to be Dale Jr. Everybody on the lead lap is already pit. We'll have 40 laps to go at Pocono this time by. Bonnie could not drive turn 2 that time.
97 car is looking to pass.
Comes Kurt Busch. A little bit of a block there by Terry Labonte on the outside down the third straightaway of the racetrack, I guess. Before they get off into turn 3, Kurt's still trying to run the outside. Labonte lets his car drift up the track in front of him. Terry Labonte is 10 seconds off the lead. It wasn't a fast pit stop. They didn't make a mistake that time. It was just a slow stop.
Number 97, come on.
Busch again looking to the outside. Terry has led 1 lap all day long. And that was that last lap before he came to pit road. The only reason he even led was because Dale Jr. came into the pits beforehand. Noah Jones, welcome to the stream. Oh, we looked away from the screen at the wrong time. That's a lot of time lost in turn 2. Kurt Busch gains a spot, so does Rusty Wallace. That was my bad. I looked away from the screen. It just completely cut through the grass. That was not a shortcut either. That wasn't, I mean, it might have been a shortcut, but it cost us time.
We're about 10 seconds
Cost us about 0.4 of a second in 2 positions. Watching the Blackhawks Red Wings game right now. Nice, nice.
Best place for him is in your rear view mirror.
I saw Chicago's 0-3-1. I'm surprised. I mean, I don't know, like, who they really have young talent-wise, but I was surprised when I saw that. Tell you what, Kerfoot's really pulling away from the 2 and the 5 since getting around both of them, really. Wow, Terry drove it hard into turns 1.
Way to get ready, buddy.
Nice clean pass on Rusty Wallace. Didn't waste any time getting back around him for 11. Terry's got to go. This is crunch time. On the back up turn 2. Wallace maybe trying to cross him back over. Bonnie beat him back to the gas. Oh, we got some guys short pitting. I did not see that coming.
Okay, you've got some driving.
Kurt Busch, Rusty Wallace, a couple other drivers inside the top 10 pit. So some short pitting going on here. That is going to be very, very interesting. It's not a fuel-friendly race indeed there, Ethan. We're seeing that here today. Not really a fuel mileage race for Labonte. We know he's going to be about 4 to 5 laps short. That's too much to save at Pocono, especially under green. Now, if we get a caution, on the other hand, he might make it, but he might as well top off. Labonte doesn't lead another lap. I think it was a good idea and a good thing he stayed out to lead that one lap when Junior pitted a lap before him. Just to get those 5 bonus points, because you never know. He might need those by the end of the year. We're about halfway through the season. Really close to it. I mean, you points race all year as it is, but you get later and later into the season, you just start thinking about it more and more and more, especially if you're in the hunt for the championship. So with those guys short pitting, how much ground are they going to be able to make up for the final 35-plus laps of the race? I have to assume they're going to make up quite a bit, especially on, say, like Labonte right now, who is just behind those guys as it was. Labonte's already committed, though. When he pits the final time, it's not going to be a 4-tire stop. It's going to be fuel only. And he better hope that pit crew does not mess it up, because they messed up 2 stops already today of the 5. And they were really slow on that last stop, too, with another 20-second plus stop, even though they didn't actually make a mistake. They were just slow. That's another thing that's got to be costing Labonte. Just those pit road mistakes. The cautions have kind of stagnated everything out, so his mistakes that he made on the racetrack before that last caution didn't really matter. Everything since it, though, does. Because we haven't had a caution in a while. Had 3 of them today here at Pocono. We could still see another one.
Go ahead and get on by. He's not going to block. Blindside. Clear.
Again, Junior. If Dale Jr. goes 43 laps to the end of this race on fuel, that'd be insane. But I am not counting him out of it. I think he actually has a shot to do it. He's not leading currently, again, because he didn't pit as soon as some of those other guys. Labonte hard into turn 3, trying to gain ground on Mark Martin.
We're about 10 seconds off the leader. Hit your marks. Be smooth.
Labonte gets into too heavy traffic before the end of this race. I think that might be the time for him to pit. Give up the least amount of time possible. We had the lift there. Another driver on the pit road. I believe that was Dale Jarrett who just came into the pits. Yes, it was. So Jarrett's short pitting as well. Not as early as some of those other guys, but he is definitely pitting with just over 30 to go. That is really early compared to the end of this one. So a lot of strategy being played here late at Pocono. Always seems to come down to a strategy-based race at this track. Another bobble down the straightaway for Labonte off the exit of turn 1.
The 6 car is attempting a launch.
Big run off of turn 3 for Labonte. Martin trying to block him.
Okay, you've got some driving to do. Leader has about 10 seconds on us.
Number 6.
Wow, Martin just sent it into turn 1. Bonnie backs the corner up maybe a little bit better, and this is a hard-fought battle going on for 6th right now.
The 6 car.
Both drivers hard into turn 2.
Number 6 is outside.
That was a bad corner there by Terry Labonte. He lost a little bit more time, and he's coming to pit road now. Late decision. Almost spun out trying to lock the brakes up. Fuel only here for Terry Labonte. Maybe a little bit of damage repaired, and that's going to be it. Half a can of fuel. A very short pit stop, no adjustments.
The driver hits mark. The crew goes to work. Looks like they're going to make a chassis adjustment. Yes, a wedge adjustment to help the handling on this car.
Expected to be a 6-second stop. It was 7 seconds. So a little on the slow side again, but at least they're making sure they have enough fuel to make it to the end of the race. So 30 laps to go as Labonte comes off the pit lane. In front of Kevin Grubb. He's got a lot of open space in front of him. Currently, Labonte's in 8th place. She only lost 1 position. So he is going to have to run somebody down. He was in 7th when he came into the pits. Then again, there could have been somebody behind him on the lead lap, too, that could have gotten around him. So maybe he doesn't have to pass anybody else to the end. He's just got to make sure nobody passes him. At least as far as drivers that are battling for position. Well, now he's just got to hope fuel only is going to be enough to win this thing. So those tires are going to be really old at the end of this one. Extra 6 to 7 laps is a long time at Pocono. Those tires are going to make it to the end of the race, but he's going to be sliding around a lot. And it was worth short pitting too, especially going fuel only, because he knew he wasn't going to go lap down. So if the caution does come out, he's committed to staying out the rest of this race if we get a caution. He'll restart from the lead. He's going to have some fresh tires behind him, but that is what he is committed to doing at this point. He is not going to hit pit road anymore here tonight. Unless he gets caught up in an accident, which, knock on wood, that doesn't happen. It's just going to have to be a patiently waiting kind of finish to this one, just to see what all transpires. So Dale Jarrett is less than 2 seconds behind Labonte and on fresher tires. So Fuel only definitely got Labonte the track position, but Jarrett and those guys are coming in hot pursuit. And there's still 7 drivers that have to pit that are ahead of him. And we know one of them might make it to the end, and that's Dale Jr. But he would be the only one that would make it. Labonte's going to have to play some defensive modes there on these faster cars coming up behind him if he's going to want a chance to win. Look at how hard he drives it into turn 3, quickly trying to get around LePage, who's a lap down, knowing Jarrett is right there. LePage might have a little bit fresher tires too, I'm not sure. He's hanging in there, but now Labonte clears him down the Long Pond straightaway. We'll have 25 laps to go this time by. Currently 25 to go for the race leader.
Keep an eye on your mirror. He's not too happy with it.
Labonte has zero clue who he's going to be racing for the win. I mean, varying pit strategies here at the end of today's race is really going to shake up the running order as far as... I mean, it's not going to shake it up too drastically if we stay green. It'll shake it up within the top 10, but everybody that was in the top 10 will probably still finish there. With Jarrett, who was running, 8th place when he came to pit road, might have a shot to win this one. He looks high. Labonte actually didn't even try to block there. He almost ran into the side of Ashton Lewis. Barely clears him off of turn 1. Labonte got loose on entry and then shoved up the center of the racetrack in the center of the corner. Now Dale Jarrett looks to the inside. A block. Oh, both cars are in the grass and off the curbing. And they both stick the corner somehow. Oh my goodness. At 160 plus miles an hour. Battling for what could be the eventual lead with less than 25 laps to go. 24 this time. Labonte on older tires. Was hoping they even out after some point as well. Dale Jarrett all the way to the inside. Labonte locked the brakes up again, and Dale Jarrett gonna get around him. Tony Stewart. I thought he was gonna get around Labonte too, but Labonte's able to get a good draft off of Jarrett at least. Hard on the brakes again, barely stays in front of Stewart. Labonte's overdriving this race car. But you can't blame him. The position he's in right now, he's got to put this car to its maximum limits. Never know if lap traffic ends up slowing Dale Jarrett up at all, or the tires start to even out over the very long run as we get closer to the end of the race. Jarrett's got about 15 to 20 lap fresher tires. Same for Stewart. Stewart not able to get around him now. The lap traffic side by side in front of Dale Jarrett right now. That could help Labonte and Tony Stewart here. Well, now they're single file. Jarrett drove it in deep. Almost made contact with Biffle. Boy, that was tight. Right in the tunnel turn going side by side, but Jarrett's going to get around them both. Labonte's still driving it hard, but he's actually starting to stick the corners a little bit better now. You know how tight his car can get at the very end of the run, too. His car's going to be mad tight at the end of this thing. But he can't afford to make up any more mistakes. Jarrett's got a ton of clean air in front of him. Oh, and Labonte into the back of Biffle. No time lost. No traffic at all in front of Jarrett. Now Stewart's got to get around the Biff. Oh, man. And that again goes to show how badly Labonte's trying to hang on for dear life. He's still in front of Stewart. But since Jarrett got by, he is gone.
The 20 car has got a run on you.
Stewart is still struggling to get around the 5. And Ricky Rudd's been closing in the last couple laps as well. Rudd going to be trying to look for a top 10 finish today. We go to Michigan tomorrow night. Here on NASCAR Thunder 04.
20 laps to go.
20 laps to go in tonight's race here for the Pocono 500.
The right front tire's a little warm. Careful now.
Somebody else just came out of the pits, but I'm not entirely sure who it was. Hopefully it wasn't anybody Labonte was having to race. It's holding Jarrett up, though, as they're side by side all the way through turn 2. And they're still side by side in turn 3. That was Ryan Newman who just came out of the pit. So, yeah, Newman came off the pit lane as well. And he's got the freshest tires on the racetrack, and he has just passed Dale Jarrett for, again, what will likely be the eventual lead. Bonnie's actually kind of pulled away from Stewart. Who knows, Newman could have taken fuel only as well. So I'm quite surprised he came out that far ahead of the field when he didn't even short... Well, I mean, he short pitted compared to the guys that are still out on the racetrack, but everybody that already pitted, he obviously didn't short pit on. And he's got fresher tires now if he did take tires. Well, Bonnie's catching one of those two. It's hard to tell which one it is. Somebody else just dove onto pit road. A couple guys, in fact. Mark Martin came off the pit lane as well. Well, Bonnie's in 6th, so he has picked up a couple spots. Well, one spot to be exact. He was in 7th when he came to pit road. Well, it's nice to know he doesn't have to worry about fuel the rest of the race, at least. He's got that going for him. There's not any heavy damage on Labonte's car as well. Not since very early in the race, when that right side was really banged up after Marlin took multiple shots at him trying to take him out. A Couple hits in the wall as well there for Labonte during the course of that run, and it about did him in. He was on the brink of his race coming to an end. But he made it. And at the very minimum, he should be able to salvage a top 10, maybe a top 5. I'd like to mention I didn't open up that bag of Cheez-Its yet. That was our good luck charm. We won the last 2 races with it. We might have to open it up pretty soon. 15 laps to go at Pocono. Fuel tank half empty. We still got 15 laps left, but no reason why this team didn't put enough fuel in the car, especially with it being an even slower stop by a second. It's an extra second of fuel that was put in the car during that pit stop. Hold on the brakes into turn 3. Jeff Green into the pit lane. Wow. Kenny Wallace blocking Terry Labonte. I thought he was going to run right into him. Didn't quite do that, at least. Labonte just over 2.5 seconds off the lead. Wallace still on the outside. Not letting Terry Labonte go easily there. Terry gets around him in turn 1. Is there any way Dale Jarrett hits heavy enough lap traffic that Terry Labonte could catch him? Junior is going to be very close on fuel. Don't forget about him. We might have to pause it for 2 things. 1, to check where Junior's running to make sure he's still on the racetrack. Not now, but in a couple laps. And just to check who all is still out on the racetrack that hasn't pit yet. On the brakes off of turn 3 to keep it off the wall was Labonte that time. 12 to go. Sorry, 13 to go. Lost a little more ground to Dale Jarrett, but it's better than hitting that outside wall. These tires are just so old. Well, Labonte has not only led 1 lap tonight, but remember last night he took the lead with 3 laps to go. Could it be one of those nights again if these tires can kick in and Junior can't make it on fuel? Bonnie hard into turn 3, working the curbing about as well as he could for as sideways as he was on corner entry. Never know what kind of lap traffic can be in front of Dale Jarrett. 3.5 seconds, though. There's a gap between Dale Jarrett and Terry Labonte. There's no way Gordon's hit pit road yet, too. Being shown 7 seconds off the lead in 4th. So now we have more of the leaders coming to pit road this time with 12 to go. 11 for the race leader, Dale Jr. At least 1, maybe 2 more drivers hit pit road that time. Another big slide into turn 3. Bonnie's going to be driving it like that for the rest of this race. $11 to go. Labonte's shown in 4th, so it should be a top 5 run. Again, as long as these guys on fresher tires behind him don't run him down to the finish. He messed up turn 2 a little bit. It's hard not to mess it up, not only with the analog stick that we're probably going to forever deal with now, but at least with this game. And maybe it'll be better for 05. If it's not better for 05, I need to figure something out before I start that gameplay. Might even have to figure it out before I finish this gameplay, though.
Only 10 laps left.
Four seconds separate Terry Labonte and Dale Jarrett. Could you imagine if Dale Jarrett blew an engine? I mean, I guess that's technically not impossible.
Easy now. Gonna need some of that grip later.
It was actually a good angle into the corner, despite the fact it's pointed towards the grass there for a little bit. Didn't go below the curbing. Fucking right on top of it. Actually got to the gas at a decent point. Dale Jarrett's got really heavy lap traffic around him. Can Dale Jr. make it on fuel? He's only 9 laps away from doing so. Bobby Labonte still on the racetrack in second. He'll probably end up hitting before Jr. I don't think Labonte can make it. It's amazing how much Terry Labonte was able to pull away from Ricky Rudd and Tony Stewart, who were closing in on him on those fresher tires. But Dale Jarrett just absolutely pulled away. Yeah, fourth place wouldn't be that bad at all. We only led 1 lap. We obviously didn't have that fast of a race car today. We had maybe a top 10 car. Taking fuel only on this last pit stop is going to gain us a couple more spots. It was our only shot we really had of winning, but at least it's going to gain us some positions to the end. Well, Ryan Newman's closing in, though. Newman's closing that gap still on Terry Labonte, so I guess it's not impossible that he would catch us. He's led a handful of laps a couple different times today as well. So Junior's still on the racetrack. Bobby Labonte is on pit road as we speak. So Bobby Labonte comes into the pits. Should get Terry Labonte another spot.
Go ahead and get on by. He's not gonna block.
Number 11, the hot.
7 laps. Wow, Dale Jarrett is only a second ahead of Terry Labonte now. I think that lap traffic is holding up Dale Jarrett a ton, and it is. New life for Terry Labonte. Look at that. Jarrett is sandwiched between 2 lap cars right now off of turn 1 again. So for about 2 laps in a row, Jarrett is held up in lap traffic, and Labonte is running him down, but he's on older tires, so if Labonte gets one chance at Jarrett, he's got to make the move. They're going to need to hold him up for about another half a lap yet for Labonte to make the move. Big dive into turn 3 to the inside. Jarrett finally moves the lap car. Caution's out. They race back to the caution flag. Labonte and Jarrett race to the caution flag. At the line by a nose, Labonte beats Jarrett. Caution is out with 7 laps left. A crash in turn 1. Jerry Nadeau with a single car spin as he backs it into the outside wall. Unbelievable. And this race has just been flipped on its side. We're going to have some guys on fresh tires. We're going to have some guys on old tires at the front of the field. And we're going to have about a 3 or 4 lap shootout to the finish. Junior might make it on fuel now with that caution. He might run out on the restart. Who knows? Oh my goodness. This is going to be wild. We've seen crazy restarts all day long here at Pocono, and I think we're going to see another one. Green flag back in the air. Junior hit pit road on the restart. 3 laps to decide the winner. Labonte trying to block on the restart. On older tires at the front of the field. Jared drives it in deep on the bottom of the track, but he can't get to the lead. Labonte, for 3 laps around a 2.5-mile racetrack at Pocono, has probably the oldest tires in the field and everybody on fresh tires behind him. As he just beat Dale Jarrett back to the caution flag because the lap traffic held him up. This is going to be a very close one. It's so hard to pass the leader, though. That is what Labonte's got going for him right now. And this race just fell into his lap. Oh, contact further back. Car almost went around into turn 3. I think it was Mark Martin. I think Martin and Newman got together. 2 laps to go for Terry Labonte as he pulls Jarrett off of turn number 3. Is anybody going to challenge Terry Labonte? Boy, this race got flipped up on its side. Jarrett hard into turn 1. Newman up to 3rd. Jeff Gordon right behind him. Those guys have extremely fresh tires. We're going to have a super close finish to the end of this race for the 2nd straight day. And I think Newman has one of the fresher tires in the field. He's up to 2nd. He gets around Dale Jarrett. Lap and a half to go. This is going to be the longest last lap of Terry Labonte's life. Gordon now to the inside for 2nd place on Newman. Labonte on old tires slides into turn 3. The final lap is upon us. Labonte's led only about 5 laps all day long, and he's got his teammate Jeff Gordon behind him in 2nd, followed by Ryan Newman and his brother Bobby Labonte. All on fresh tires and pitted right before the caution waved. Gordon looking low. Labonte gets a little tight. Gordon all over the back of Labonte with 2 turns to go. Bobby Labonte to 3rd as he passes Ryan Newman further back. Labonte can't get loose now. Hard onto the brakes into turn 2. Slides the tires. Holds on to the lead. Gordon almost bounced it off the wall. One more shot. Into turn 3. Labonte locks the brakes again. Bobby looks to the inside for 2nd. Off of turn 3, drag race back to the line. The Labonte brothers 1-2. Terry pulls off a miracle at Pocono. Boy, this race fell into his lap. What a finish. And Terry Labonte holds on old tires to win this race. What a strategy call. The caution waved at the correct time with just 7 to go, giving Terry Labonte a chance to win it. He held him off for the final 3 laps. I don't know if he would have been able to hold on another lap. And he's going to burn this down until the engine gives out. What a race. Unbelievable. For the 2nd straight night, a thrilling finish. Labonte gets the win. Oh my gosh. And both the Labonte brothers finished 1-2. I haven't been able to talk all night. I really can't talk after that one. What a finish. Oh, man. That was unbelievable. The good luck charm has stricken once again. Opening a bag of Cheez-Its during the stream has brought us nothing but good luck. That's the only logical explanation. No, I'm kidding. Man, I was gonna joke that that's the only logical explanation that a caution came out at the right time after taking fuel only under green, racing Dale Jarrett back to the eventual lead for 2nd place at the time to the caution flag, beat him by inches. And we only ran him down from a 4-second deficit because he had 2 lap cars that would not get out of his way. That is unbelievable. And we'll be running that paint scheme tomorrow night at Michigan. I'll have a glass of milk on me. What a finish. What a race. 2 nights in a row on this game. And we have heart-pounding action throughout. And a pretty tight finish. Bumper to bumper across the line. Terry Labonte with the win. Bobby Labonte 2nd. Terry led 8 laps. 3 of those were under caution right at the end there. And Junior Pitt Junior did not stay out to try and make it on fuel to the end. I was interested to see if he was going to do that. The caution wave when he was in the lead is still on the racetrack. He led 121 laps today. Junior by far led the most. Had the strategy and had the best car, but that caution coming out late might have saved him a couple laps of fuel, but ultimately he knew he couldn't afford to run out at that point because it was going to cost him more than just the win on a restart. So he hit pit road, and after restarting in 14th, he did drive up to 7th in the final three laps. That's impressive. Single file restart at Pocono, which is probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest track to pass on. And he went from 14th to 7th in 3 laps. That's how fast of a car he had tonight. Boy, that is probably the best luck I think I've ever had on a NASCAR video game. Because we did not have a fast car. We should not have won this race. We did not have the fast car. We had a top 10 car, but we should not have won this race. We only led 8 laps, and they were all within the last probably 30, 40 laps of the race. Mainly, and all on strategy. But Terry Labonte is going to get the win. Take a look at the running order quickly through the top 10 at least. Bobby Labonte second, Jeff Gordon third, Ryan Newman fourth, Mark Martin rounds out the top 5. Jimmy Johnson, Dale Jr. 6th and 7th. 8th and 9th, Jeff Burton and Dale Jarrett. Jarrett really fell back. Dale Jarrett restarted in 2nd place with 3 to go. Fell back to 9th. He had a really bad restart. Once he got stuck on the outside, he couldn't get back down to the bottom, it looked like. Ricky Rudd will round out the top 10. Take a look. Again, 14 cars finished on the lead lap. 4 cautions for 13 caution laps. And our DNFs, we had quite a few of them. 500-mile race, a lot of engine failures. Jeremy Mayfield, Jamie McMurray, Kevin Harvick, Matt Kenseth, Steve Park, Jack Sprague all blew an engine. Sprague and Marlin got together. Marlin got knocked out of the race after running into the back of Sprague. After Sprague blew his engine in turn 3, Marlin had nowhere to go. Rusty Wallace also blew an engine there in the last 7 laps. And we saw Jerry Nadeau spin, but he still finished the race at the end. So yeah, a lot of DNFs. We had 8 DNFs tonight. Margin of victory, 1/10 of a second. Oh my gosh. It's about as close as you can get on this game. It's hard to get a photo finish in this game. We came close 2 nights in a row. On tracks you wouldn't even think of that happening, though. That's the insane part. Pocono and Dover. That really goes to show anything could happen in any given race. Video game or not. Pocono put on probably their best race ever tonight. One of their best finishes ever. Take a look at the upcoming schedule over the next handful of days. The sweet taste of victory. For Terry Labonte, that's his 7th win of the season. And he'll go back-to-back for the 2nd time this year. Next 4 races, we go to Michigan tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully you join for a Saturday night. Should be a good one. I mean, we've had nothing but good ones the last 2 nights. Really 3 if you count the Cup Series Championship race, too. The Xfinity and Truck Series Championship races were good, but they weren't, great. They had their moments. But from the Cup Series Championship on Heat 5 to the last 2 nights of Thunder Up 4, we have just been putting on some amazing races. So Michigan tomorrow night at 7, noon on Sunday, we'll be at Infineon for our first road course race of the year. On Monday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time again, we'll be at Daytona for the Pepsi 400. And then the Tropicana 400 at Chicagoland the following Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So those will be the next 4 races. And Labonte goes from 8th to 4th in points, and he's now only 114 back from Dale Jr. as Jr. will take the points lead away after leading the most laps, finishing 7th. So he beat Tony Stewart in finish, and Stewart is only 19 points behind him, but Jr. still has a points lead. And a pretty big gap back to Jeff Gordon in third now, but the top 8 drivers still. So coming into the night, 8 drivers mathematically had a shot to take the points lead at the end of the night. That has not changed, but the order of which they were 1 through 8 has. Matt Kenseth has really been struggling. He was the points leader just 2 races ago. He is now back to 7th, 139 back. So he is starting to slip. And that's pretty much it. There's the rundown through the top 10. Sterling Marlin DNF today. Fell all the way back to 18th. I thought he was right around 10th. Coming in, Ricky Rudd. He was in the top 10 a few races ago as well, but he's starting to slip. He had a good finish tonight, though. Thanks for everybody tuning in. It was an amazing race, as I've already stated many, many times, not only throughout the course of the race, but that finish also went to prove it. Thanks for everybody tuning in. We do these full race live streams with a realistic broadcast every single day in hopes of me finding my dream of one day broadcasting real races within the NASCAR realm. I'm learning new things along the way, broadcasting here, that can help me with my abilities, and I'm only going to get better as time goes. Every now and then, I don't do the best of jobs commentating. You guys probably don't pick up on it as much as I critique myself, but I only get myself better the more and more repetitions I get. I don't know what it was last night and tonight. I just seem to be kind of slipping up on my speech from time to time throughout the course of the stream. A little more so than usual. It's okay for it to happen every now and then, but for whatever reason, I notice it a handful of times tonight and a handful of times tomorrow. But by the end of the race, at least I made a good call at the finish when it was a good finish. But I need to work on that, making sure it stays up throughout the course of the race. But thanks, everybody, for that. You can follow me on my journey there by subscribing to the YouTube channel. Helps me out a ton. We're on the road to 1,000 subs. Hopefully, we can get there soon. Hit that like button if you haven't already. 20 likes in the chat today. Our goal was 25. We did get close to it, but still, I greatly appreciate that. So make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys tomorrow again at 7 p.m. at Michigan, right here on Thunder 04 on the channel. I'll see you tomorrow night. Have a good rest of your evening, everybody.